Good afternoon, everybody. It's going to take a few seconds for folks to come on live. I'm Greg,
And I'm Val.
and we are your hosts for the 3-day Build a New Comfort Zone Challenge that's happening this week. And we wanted to do this particular session to help you with the um, the personal style assessment. And so that's what this is all about: is the personal style assessment, to walk you through how to fill it in, what it's about, all that kind of stuff, and then answer any questions that you have. We're not going to take a long time on this, but we wanted you to know about it. What we have coming this week, if you're not already registered for it, is the 3-day Build a New Comfort Zone Challenge. And what we hope to accomplish throughout this week is to install a new mental model, a new mental spiritual way of doing your life. We want to install that kind of operating system into you through the 3-day Build a New Comfort Zone Challenge. So that is what it's all about. And then we have our VIP sessions, our VIP experience on Monday afternoon or Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday and Thursday afternoons. And each day is different, but it's designed to take you deeper, to take you in behind the scenes in the spiritual realm, to look at things. And on day 3, we're doing a hot seat. So if you wanted to be a part of that, you could get the VIP experience. Awesome. And we are going to be, throughout the week, we will be talking about the God First process and also the Advanced Build a New Reality course, which came out of our 3-day Build a New Comfort Zone Challenge. So these are things that you'll, if you're part of the 3DCZ, that you'll hear about throughout the week. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all here is talk about
Sorry.
the personal style assessment. What happened to my screen here? I'll try that one. Yep, that's it. Okay. All right. So this is what we're looking at, is the personal style assessment. And just want to see who's all here. We've got Patty's here. John is here. Iramina, Dewana. Good to have you guys here. Tree Shrub 26 from Hartlepool, UK.
I think
Long time
that's
listener, first time caller.
Teresa. I think that's Teresa.
It's great to have you here. So this is going to be exciting. So this is I'm guessing folks that are on right now are from UK. I see Julie's here from Australia, UK and Africa. You know, this be a good time for y'all to be on here. So welcome. We welcome you here. Okay, the personal style assessment. This was developed. I've got the citation of it at the bottom of the second page. It was developed by it's a participants guide, network participants guide by Bruce Bugsby, Don Cousins, and Bill Hybels. They designed it for their network training for their small group system they had at Willow Creek Community Church quite a number of years ago. This goes back into the 1990s when this was actually created. I adapted it for business. And so I just took what they had created as far as the assessment goes, and then adapted it for business because their entire focus was volunteerism within the church context. And I was wanting to use it in other avenues and found it limiting in the language that they had in the preamble of the personal style assessment. So y'all have a copy of this, and I just want to highlight a couple of things in this, on the introduction. Is you're energized and organized in a particular way that makes sense to you. It's your personal style, your own unique set of preferences. Your personal preference is important to understand, as it governs how you interact with people and within situations. There's nothing right or wrong about your personal style. It's just how we're all wired. And we all prefer to do things in a certain way. And it's what makes variety of life so intoxicating. Now, the problem is when your preference becomes the only way it can be done. And you'll find out as we go through this, you might discover that you may have been applying your preferences in your relationships, in your family, your preferences at work, and it's causing you a tremendous amount of stress when people aren't doing it the way you prefer to do it. And when you understand everybody else has their own style, then you can interact with the people around you in a different way. Preferring to do something a certain way is perfectly fine to do. Otherwise, misery would be your only company. Your personal style is where you find the energy and the creative spark to exist in the best version of yourself. It's where life meaning is cultivated, strengths and gifts are utilized to their fullness, and loving relationships are established and nurtured. However, when your preferences overrules other people's preferred way to do things, then conflict will be the outcome. Learning about your personal style will help you to understand why certain things tick you off so much and why you like to do things the way that you do. You'll become a better leader. Here, there's a proverb that goes, "The man that thinks he's leading, yet has no one following him, is just taking a walk." When you understand personal style, you'll be in a position to lead people in ways that they prefer to be led. Not only will they be happier and more productive, they'll enjoy being around you because you get them. I've used this personal style assessment in a variety of settings, and it has worked to improve morale and the level of work being done every single time. Understanding this simple thing almost gives you a leadership superpower, the power to make people around you feel valued, heard, and important, the power to achieve goals and accomplish meaningful objectives with a team without conflict. Now that's priceless. So we're going to work through this, and I found this really fascinating to me because I heard this. I think it might have been John Maxwell in a book that he had written on leadership. The Japanese have an ancient awareness of three things. Actually, it was Stephen Covey, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. They have awareness of three things: the sword, the jewel, and the mirror. The sword represents military might and the power to conquer or defend. The jewel represents money, assets, and the power and influence of abundant wealth. The mirror represents self-knowledge and the ability to understand your own heart and ways. They teach their children to value the mirror. Self-knowledge is very important. There's an ancient proverb in the book of Hebrews that says to act without knowing how you function is not good. If you rush ahead, you'll miss your goal. Learning about your preferential style will reveal how you function. It's a big deal. It'll help you reach your goals. This assessment will help you to know yourself better. And we're going to get on to the next page now to look at how the personal style is. So here's the directions. I want you to have your personal style assessment there ready to fill in. Read each statement and circle the number along the continuum that best describes what you would prefer to do or be. If you have a strong preference, circle a 1 or a 5 on either continuum. If it's medium, if it's a moderate, you circle a 2 or a 4, or a 3. If it's right in the middle where you could go either way, then you do a 3. But there's no wrong responses. Just be as honest as you can about how you prefer to do things. Do not answer according to how you feel other people might expect you to answer, like a family member, a spouse, a person in authority, a friend. It's your preference, not theirs. Select the behavior or perspective that would come most naturally to you if you knew there were no restrictions or consequences for your personal expression. When you have completed your assessment, total your E and O scores, then plot your results on the graph provided on the next page. Now, I'm going to bring up another document here. See if I can get it going here. I'm not seeing it. That's not going to work. How can I do this, Emily? I'll get rid of that. There we go. That's there. Okay, I got
Thanks, Emily.
it. Okay. So Emily went ahead and filled out one of these in the instructions. So, how are you energized? I am more comfortable doing things for people or being with people. So, what are you more comfortable with, doing things for them or with them? So, in Emily's case, she circled the two, and that became her answer for the number one question. When doing a task, I tend to focus on the goal or focus on relationships. So when you're doing a task at your home, at your office, in a volunteer situation at the church, do you focus on the goal or do you focus on relationships? So again, now in her case, she circled the three because she could go either way. The goal is important, relationships are equally important. So she just put it down the middle. Number three, I get more excited about advancing a cause or creating community. Now, which way are you more leaning toward? You want to advance the cause, you get really excited. We want to get this done. We want to see this area grow and develop. Or I want to do this in a way that everybody gets to come along. I want to have community as we do this thing. So, what gets you more excited, advancing a cause or creating community? So, in Emily's case, she put a 4 there. So, leaning more towards creating community. I feel I have accomplished something when I have completed a job or built a relationship. You feel more accomplished. She put a 2. Again, not right or wrong. You might think, well, you should be more concerned about relationships. Well, in this question, what if it is I really feel accomplished when I finish a job? I do. Now, I think that's awesome. Number 5, it's more important to start a meeting on time or when everyone gets there. So where are you on that continuum? If it's like number 1 on time, if you had a 0, I would put it there. It's like it's got to be on time. Or number 5 when everybody gets there. Okay. Next, I'm more concerned with meeting a deadline or maintaining the team. So where are you on that? Meet the deadline, maintaining the team. You're more concerned. Again, no right or wrong answer. Just circle a number. I place a higher value on action or communication. Or is it neutral? Both equal. Action, communication. What do you place a higher value on? What do you place a higher value on? So then what you do is you add up all the numbers to get your E total, because we're going to transfer that over onto the scoring sheet on the next page. Okay, next is how are you organized? It says here, number 1, in life, I generally prefer to be spontaneous, follow a set plan. And again, no right or wrong thing. If you love spontaneity, just number 1's your one, that's your baby. If you love to follow a plan and always plan everything, number 5's your baby, because you prefer to do that. Number 2, I prefer to set guidelines that are general or specific. Emily was at a 4 on this one. She put specific. Number 3, I prefer to leave my options open or settle things now. Leave my options open or settle things now. So, you start doing something, you have many options in that, you leave them open, decide as you go, or do you like to sit down, make the decision of how it's going to be, and then you do it? So settle things right away. I prefer projects that have variety or routine. What's your preference? Do you like the variety? Do you like the routine? It's your preference. It doesn't belong to anybody else. I like to play it by ear or stick to a plan. Which one do you prefer and how much? Is it all the way or is it You know, 2 or a 4, or is it right down the middle? Number 3. Number 6, I find routine boring or restful. I find routine either boring or is it restful? Or is it right in the middle? So if you find it restful, number 5. If you find it boring, number 1. Number 7, I accomplish tasks best by working it out as I go or by following a plan. Okay? So now take all the numbers that you've circled and do your total at the bottom. The O equals what? Now we're going to go to the next page, the personal style assessment scoring sheet, and we're going to follow the instruction here. So use the graph below. Take the total number from your O scale and place an X where you find it along the horizontal line that has labels unstructured and structured. So this is the O scale right here, going this way. You have structured over here. You have unstructured over here. So unstructured, structured, the O scale. So in Emily's case, she put the E22 or the O25 over here on the O scale. That's where she put it. So just put a mark on your page where that is. O25. So it's between 24 and 28. You know, that's where it goes. Take the total number from your E scale and place an X where you find it along the vertical line that has the labels task and people. So you have the E scale here. You've got task, and then down here is people. So now you're going to put the X on the line right there. And now you're going to, along the O scale, draw a vertical line from bottom to top through the X you place there. So you're just going to do a line like this, right through there. Or you can just, figure it out. We're not in grade school anymore. We're not in kindergarten. We can do this. Along the E scale, draw a horizontal line from left to right through the X you place there. So we're going to go on the horizontal here. Kindergarten was the best 5 years of my life. I tell you what. Coloring inside the line. I kept failing that part of the class. Okay, so you got the E scale, the O scale. Now you have X marks the spot. Okay, so Emily is in a people structured location with the numbers that she had put there. So your personal style is what? Where are you? Are you task unstructured or task structured? Are you people unstructured, people structured? Okay, so what are you? Like, where did your X find you? In what quadrant? Task unstructured, task structured, people unstructured, people structured. So where are you? Emily was just here. Mine was over here in the task unstructured, people unstructured, pretty much on the line, like right on the line of all the numbers there. So I'm right between both of these things, but way out over here in unstructured. And so I like task, I love people. So it's kind of balanced out that way for me. But you may be way up in here, way in the people unstructured, task unstructured, task structured, people structured. So locate yourself. Where are you? This is all about self-knowledge. This is your preference. How do you prefer to do things? Okay, so now we have that information. Let us go to the next page to see what it all means. Now, if you are in the unstructured category, then you prefer a lot of options and flexibility. You enjoy variety. You don't prefer to be told what to do, but rather an overview of what needs to be done and the goal of the outcome. You can usually figure things out and get the job done right. If you're leading an unstructured person, avoid using lists of tasks. They'll feel like you're trying to control them, and they will be frustrated by it. Provide them with a general task outline. let them know the ultimate goal and the reason for the work being done, then let them do their job. Unstructured people prefer spontaneous relationships that happen on the go. Being unstructured does not mean you are disorganized. It's just your preferred way of working and relating to others. Structured, if you are in this category, then you like to work from lists and detailed plans. You like order and predictability. In a team setting, you'll prefer receiving a list of tasks with clear timelines and accountabilities. If you're leading a structured person, provide them with the list of tasks that need to be done and exactly when they need to be completed by, along with details on how to do the work. If you try to lead them without the list, they'll become frustrated and they'll feel like you don't care about them or with what they are doing. Can you see how this may be a dynamic in your church or in your office or in your marriage and your family, how you parent your kids? Like, isn't this valuable information? I remember when I was pastoring in a local church, I had staff and volunteers, and when I located this document, I went through it for myself, and I thought, I'm going to put my staff through this. And so one of my staff members was really frustrated with me, and I was confused by it because I thought I was leading her really well. I was leading her how I prefer to do things. So I'm an unstructured person. I love the task. I'll get to work first and then we'll talk later. I was kind of in that category. And I didn't know. I thought, hey, anybody that's like me would love being led by me because I just give them so much latitude. They can figure things out. They're smart. They can do this, That was my mindset. She was frustrated. She was upset. I didn't know why. So I gave her this assessment. She filled it in. Found out that she was people structured and way up into that. So our meetings changed. When we would have a meeting to talk about a project or something, we'd sit down and we'd talk. Hey, how's your family? Yeah, how's your husband? Oh, that's wonderful. What'd you guys do? Oh, you went there? You went to the lake? Wow, what'd you do on the lake? And so we'd talk and talk and talk about family, which would sometimes drive me nuts because I'm thinking, I want to get down to work, but I did it anyway because that was her preference. I was leading her, not me. I'm leading her. And then I'd say, okay, here's what we're going to do now. And I had a list of things and I had accountabilities and time frames. And it took me a bit more work to do this, but I needed to do it because that's how she preferred to be led. Do you know what happened? Happy as a pig in mud. She'd be singing, doing her work, doing it awesome, getting it done. And she felt accomplished, felt like I cared, felt like it was a great place to work, and would tell everybody, I have the best job in the world. True story. And then I had another person who was a volunteer. And she came in and says, we need to do something about the toys in the little kids' room. I said, all right. But first, fill this in. So she filled it in. She was a task, unstructured person. And I go, okay, I know how to lead this person. So brought her in. And I said, okay, this was the beginning of the conversation. All right, what do you think we ought to do? Well, this is what I think we should do. Bam, 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 bam. Laid it all out. She had it already planned. And I goes, you know what? Sounds great. Why don't you do that? Report back to me. And if you need anything, like if you need money to buy new things, whatever it is, just let me know. We'll figure it out. She goes, all right, done. Could hear her singing, could hear her doing her stuff in that room, and did an excellent job. So she was unstructured and task oriented. And so when you start to learn how to lead people in different ways, and that you're leading them not from any other way than how they prefer to be led. That, and you're relating to them on their preference, not your own. That's the point. Okay, task. If you are in this category, then you get energized by doing things. It's easy and refreshing for you to sit down and plan out the project recruit a team, hammer out the details, and get the job done. You don't mind working behind the scenes. You don't mind working behind the scenes and don't really care that much about recognition. Getting the job done is the goal and the real energy point for you. If you were leading a task-oriented person, they'll want to get down to business right away and talk later, or talk while you are doing the job. That's not being antisocial, it's being task-oriented. Chit chat and small talk at the beginning of meetings may annoy you because it's not related to the task at hand. You prefer to get it done. Work first, visit second, right? All of you task-oriented people are going, hey, man, why isn't everybody like me? Well, that would make a boring world, wouldn't it? If everybody was exactly the same. And then you got people. If you are in this category, then you get energized by interacting with people. Relationships are key to you. People orientation follows this credo. Visit first, work later, then visit some more. Building relationships is most likely one of your main core values. It's the most meaningful work that you can imagine. In a team setting, you prefer to chat and visit at the beginning of meetings until everyone has had a chance to settle in. Then you get down to business at hand. If you're leading a people-oriented person, then take time to get to know about other areas of their life outside of work. Be genuinely interested in them. Do this prior to providing the list of tasks and need to be accomplished. If you hit them with tasks right away, they will feel frustrated and think that you don't care about them as a person and only care about your work. Visit first, work second. Okay? So if you found yourself in a unstructured, task-oriented, well, this is self-knowledge for you. You have an understanding that that's the way you prefer to do things, is in that way. But what if your spouse is exactly opposite of you and you're trying to communicate and relate based on your preference? Then you're going to have conflict. So the best thing to do is figure out all the people in your life. How are they energized? How are they organized? What are their preferences? And then you relate to them in those categories. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop the share here. And we're going to take some questions.
Okay, I'm going to bring up Anita. What if you land right smack dab in the middle? As a coach, I always had a plan, but would adjust if it was apparent that we needed to work on something else. I don't like unstructured anything, but I don't like the ability to not change if needed.
Well, where did you score, Anita? Did you come into a category? Was it?
Well, she said smack dab in the middle.
So you're right on the X or of everything at 0, or is that?
I think it's just about understanding
21, I guess it would be.
How you function. And
yeah.
if you, like, it sounds like you actually have a balanced way of functioning. It doesn't mean that anybody who's not smack dab in the middle isn't balanced. It just means that they'll understand how they function best. So it's just an indicator.
Yeah.
Like Emily's, she kind of she wasn't like deep in the corner of, what was it? People unstructured.
Yeah, I'll just bring it up real quick.
She wasn't deep in the quadrant. She was kind of just inside the quadrant. Yeah. So it's just an indicator that she understands that she functions that way.
Doc is asking, can a personal style change over time as you grow? I think so, but it depends. Like the real secret to this is authentic honesty about your preferences, and that you're not going to go lean harder one way or the other based on what you think is the right answer, or based on what you think people would accept better from you. It's the authenticity is the real key of this. And so Perhaps it could be that if you filled it in the first time, you were more concerned about what other people thought. And then as you grew and matured, you were less concerned, especially as you get older, you get less concerned about what people think. And then it would change, definitely would change.
I could see it changing in seasons of life, depending on what's impacting you. But understanding that it's about, again, being authentically honest about your answers.
April, I'm very task oriented. Anyways, you can help me when I get really annoyed with the chit chat. Anyways, you can help me. Well, I guess it's just the enjoyment of people that, like, when you just get excited about being with people and you enjoy people, period, then the chit chat won't bug you. You know, you'll get into the situation, and because you just enjoy people, period, that might help.
I'm thinking about my mom. She was probably very task
Oh
oriented.
yeah.
Although she really liked being around people, but she liked being around people when they were working on something. And in that case, she was very task oriented. And I can remember her coming home from a ladies' coffee thing at the church. It was like a craft Bible study prayer meeting, and she'd come home so annoyed that everybody wanted to just chat. Like, she just wanted to get things done, you know. But if you're working with people that, you know, you need to work with, or you're managing, then understanding, you know, like what Greg just shared about that employee, understanding that if that's what energizes them, if you can take 10 minutes to give it to them, then they're off to the races. So it's about the end result in that case. So instead of getting annoyed with the chit chat, think, oh, I'm putting fuel in their tank, and then they're going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Julie's like, I struggle with chit chat when something serious is being discussed.
And I love chit chat.
Yeah. Well, it's so important, you know. I'm let's get down to business. I have to catch myself so many times because, you know, I'll phone somebody up and right away I'm talking about why I'm calling. And it's like sometimes could be really rude and even be offending to another person. So I've tempered my ways. So yes, it can. Like Sherry's saying that her personal style has changed dramatically. You know, it's kind of like seeing people how God created them to be and meeting them where they're at, and that's exactly a good way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sherry's saying, I think I'm having a hard time being authentic, as in not wanting to be pinned down to a certain thing. Well, nobody's pinning you down to anything. This is about self-knowledge. You don't need to, like, it's a snapshot of where you are right now. That's what it is. It's a picture of you today. You know, down the road you might look different, but today this is the way it is, and it'll give you self-knowledge. So don't worry about being locked in. This is the way I'm always going to be. No, you can be however you want to be. But it's just a snapshot for today and to help you to understand yourself better. Like the idiosyncrasies and those little weird things that we, you know, oh, this is really great or this is horrible. This, I don't like this, you know, helps us to understand ourselves.
Peggy said, that's me when my house cleaner comes. I want her to get busy and do what I want her to do. She wants a list of chores to complete. Now I understand. And I said, and also about putting fuel in her tank. You know, she might be chit-chatting because she's trying to communicate to you that not only does she clean your house, but she actually cares about you. And that might be her way of doing that.
Jennifer, I love chit chat. Stuff get done when it gets done.
So you're probably very unstructured, Jennifer, and people. Yeah. Sometimes I have a hard time getting started on something because I want to have a cup of coffee and talk about, you know, life first. But Janet says, when I was ward in charge, many criticized me, but later marveled my leadership. The secret is I loved them and prayed for them. But obviously, at first, I got offended and I had to seek God's presence.
May I add to April's comment? I relate. I sometimes get annoyed with chit chat as well. And I heard your guys' answer and it was really good. Something else that I do is I do love people. I'm more people structured than task structured, but as you see, I'm kind of on the cusp of both. Something that I learned in one of my last jobs was how to, and actually from Greg as well, is how to guide a conversation as well. So to, let them get their chit chat out if they need to and just go, you know what? We have a time limit today. I really want to make sure that we get what you need to done. And then just ask a question to keep guiding back the conversation. Through questions, you can help to guide a conversation, and you can do it in a really friendly manner while also being really lighthearted. And I think I agree that, it is about an attitude posture where we don't want to sit in annoyance that they're chit-chatting, but I can also understand how it can be annoying when you just want to get her done. So just look up communication styles and look up how to guide a conversation using questions, using personality, using customer service, because customer service, that is the best way to learn how to guide a conversation. So
great. Thanks, Emily.
This weekend, there'll be a lot of chit-chatting at Emily's house, and then we'll get down to business and purge and pack.
Yep.
And coffee. Lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee. Yeah, that's for sure. Excellent.
Yeah, sometimes if you put yourself in that person's shoes, it's like when you understand what fuels you and how it really fills up your fuel tank, what fuels you doesn't necessarily fuel the other person. And sometimes it's about receiving and sometimes it's about giving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And knowing, kind of understanding that if they are chit-chatting, that means they're probably more people structured or unstructured. And having that understanding helps a lot. I recently had a business meeting with a gentleman who had to let go his personal assistant, and he was really frustrated. And as he's talking, I started asking him questions like, did she require really high details? And she called me 4 times before 5 a.m. And it was so much for me to handle. And so I described to him the structured and unstructured spectrum. And I said, you sound like somebody who you don't need details. You kind of just walk into a room, somebody gives you a task, and you automatically sort everything in your head that needs to be done. He said, oh yeah, I know everything that needs to be done. I said, good, that means you're unstructured. But she needed more details, which means that she was really high on the structured scale. So she needed those details. And you as the owner or manager needs to know how to handle people like that. And he went, oh, so she wasn't stupid. I said, no, she wasn't stupid. She just was very, very structured. And she just required a different communication than you were, A, unaware of needing to give her, and B, maybe just unable to give her. And at that point, I would deem that just a personality mismatch. I said, no, she knew what she was doing. She just didn't have enough details to do what she needed to do. Because in your mind, you're thinking, well, why can't you just know? But in her mind, she's thinking, why can't you just tell me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Allison says, I'm wondering if I'm more task-oriented because I'm an introvert. Very possible.
Very possible, because you find more meaning and more refreshing. You get energy from being alone and working on something yourself. And I'm that way. I am an introverted person, but I enjoy being around people. But if I'm around people too much, I get tired really quick.
And I can tell if we're in a room of people and we've been there for a while, I can see Greg, the fuel going, I need to go home and just be by myself. I can see it. I can see it on his face, but I'm like, do we have to go? I'm because my fuel tank's getting filled up because I'm an extrovert.
It's funny how we got attracted to each other because of that, right?
Well, we didn't get attracted to each other in person. That's the thing.
That's the thing. Right?
Yeah. Sherry says, I have spent so much time trying to be who people wanted me to be. people pleaser, to not hurt anyone. It took me some time to learn who I really am. And I think that's a really good point, Sherry.
Mhm.
I think it took me a long time too to figure out who I really was, and that this isn't about right or wrong. It's about how you uniquely function, and that it's okay as much as it's okay for the other person. Again, sometimes it's about receiving, sometimes it's about giving. But when we have that understanding with the other person, then the giving and receiving flows quite nicely. She also said, wonder how this compares to the personality assessments.
The personality assessments, I don't know. I typically don't do those. We used to do that all the time when we were like small group leaders and that
Yeah,
kind
there
of
was
stuff.
a couple of them we did, but and I think there's like every decade, I think there's a new personality assessment.
That comes out.
And sometimes they're very helpful, but this one for us has stood the test of time. And it's probably because we've always been in a position of managing people. Like this would have been so helpful when we were at that church managing all those volunteers.
Oh,
it
man.
would have just been amazing for us.
Yeah.
We would have gotten so much more done because we would have understood how to work with people's personalities. So yeah, that's what I will say, is that this has stood. I mean, when was it that you discovered this test? That was back in the 90s.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Right?
Yeah.
Or late 90s. Yeah. So it's been over 25 years.
Yeah.
Jennifer says, chit chat solves the problems of the world. It unpicks tangles in our brains.
That's a good point.
It is.
That's how it works with some people, for
And
sure.
sometimes people just need to get stuff. They need to process stuff that's on their mind. And it doesn't even have to be serious stuff. It's, yeah.
And April's saying, for me, I'm not in leadership. So I suppose I get annoyed with chit chat when meetings are led by supervisors and I have no control. But I'll work on what you guys are suggesting. Enjoy people. I like that. Amen. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? At some point, you're going to lead someone, whether it's a child or an aging parent, or so it might not be leadership in terms of you're a manager or a business owner or in charge of something at work, but it's still helpful to know just in interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I want to take just a minute to talk about what's coming up this week in the event that you have not yet registered for the 3-day Build a New Comfort Zone Challenge. And what's happening during this challenge is 3 days. The first day we deal with, what do we call that first day? I got the graphic there. I can't remember what I call it.
I don't know if I have it in my list here.
We cover 3 topics anyway. Oh, comfort zone basics. That's day 1. We're going to look at comfort zone basics, because comfort zones and preferences, because we put the personal style assessment in the comfort zone teaching because it is so connected to your comfort zone. That's what you feel most comfortable doing and how you act in things. So comfort zone basics, day 1. Day 2, we look at blueprints, how to build a blueprint and the aspects of a blueprint. What are the assets that you have available to you? What are the God-given talents and abilities that you already have, and the power that you already have to create a new reality? And then day 3, we go through the mechanics of doing it. So we're going to look at what it is, going to build out a plan, and then we're going to execute the plan on day 3. So it's basically, we want, I heard this morning in a course I was listening to. It's about installing a different mental operating system, in yourself for how you think about life and how you can do life and how you can move forward with your life and not be hindered by anything of your past. This is how you get to breakthrough and stay there. This is how you live in an exciting state of mind and of heart in your life on a day-to-day basis. Doesn't mean you'll never have problems. You're always going to have problems because we're on this planet. The planet Earth is a place where, you try stuff, you're going to have some problems. Now, there's other planets out there that maybe they don't have problems, like Zirgon. I don't know. It's out in Andromeda Galaxy somewhere. And you can go there and there's no problems. Absolutely none. The only place on Earth that there are zero problems is the graveyard. So I don't like
Just
being
gonna
there.
say that.
You know, no problems there.
Nothing's getting done there.
So it doesn't mean you'll never be without problems, but you'll have the skills to be able to overcome. And if you've been struggling with breakthrough in your spiritual life, struggling in breakthrough in your finances, in your personal goals, in the purpose of your life, this 3-day comfort zone challenge will get you down the road. It'll equip you with what you need to get started. Then, if you need help with that, there's 2 things other that we're going to be talking about. Actually, I'm going to show you this first, because the VIP that we have available, I'm going to pull up this. This is the landing page for it. So, hey, this might click for you. 3-day VIP experience to sync with the Holy Spirit and get face-to-face with Greg and Val to go deep on building your new reality. It's only $57, and you can grab your spot. So you get all the videos of the 3-day challenge, and you get all the videos of the VIP. And it's only $57, which is less than a decent dinner or a couple of coffees, right? And then it happens at 12:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Zoom. And it's right after the main daily sessions. And you get the link to all 3 of those sessions as soon as you sign up. So grab your spot. Just go to the link that's in the comment there, jchonline.ca/czvip. So what you're getting into, day 1, what to do before you speak. So that's tomorrow's VIP. I take you behind the scenes to an encounter I had with the Father and how he showed me how he processes his thought and what he does with an idea, and how that idea then he'll do certain things with it to put it into words, and then how he speaks the words, because he created everything with words. Your words have creative power, and you have access to the very source of all creative power of the universe. And I'm going to show you it. It's in the book of Genesis, chapter 1. I'm going to show it to you. And I'll teach you this process that the Father showed to me in over 3 encounters that I had a couple of years ago. But it teaches you what to do before you speak. And then second, on day 2, we're going to talk about creating with the Holy Spirit. You discover how the Holy Spirit works, how he talks, what matters to him. You're going to learn to work with the Holy Spirit. He's my best friend. He has helped me and has taught me so many things. And he wants to do that with you, to work in you and through you, to bring about that purpose of heaven in your life, so that you feel contented, you'll feel satisfied, you'll have a certainty in your life, you'll feel hopeful, you'll feel energized, because wow, I'm in my purpose, and you'll know it. And that's what creating with the Holy Spirit will do, and I'll teach you all about that. And then day 3, we've got hot seat coaching, and so we pick 3 people for real talk. Me and Val dig into where they're at and where they want to go, and hand them the keys to make it work. It's not just advice, it's a spark that sticks. Watching this happen for someone else will teach you loads about your own situation. So what we'll be doing is just personally coaching 3 people for 20 minutes. So if you want to be a part of one of those hot seats, and you get FaceTime with Val and I, and we're both working together with you on your situation, on your new reality, to help you fine tune it, to answer questions, and to help you to advance into that, then join the VIP and you get the opportunity to be one of the 3 hot seats. We get through them. We may have extra time to answer other questions and help other people, but that's what we're doing there.
I just want to say that if it's your first time and you're too nervous to be on the hot seat, I want to encourage you that we're almost as excited about what you're bringing to the table for the hot seat as you are, because I I actually have really enjoyed this session, uncovering for people what's in them, and them bringing something to the table and going, I don't know about this, and it's like, wait, you don't see what we see. Here's what we see. Here's some maybe some tips and tricks or whatever. So, and the other people who are watching, because you're on the hot seat, they're also looking for encouragement with what they're bringing to the table that they've got written down. So yes, I understand the being nervous, but we're not out to make you feel silly or humiliate you, we're out to encourage who you are and how God created you to function.
So all of this is only 57 USD, and that's it. It's like a pair of jeans you'd wear twice, or half a steak you forget about next week.
You forget about steak?
The one I ate, yeah, I forgot about it a long time ago. But this could shift how you see everything. This could be your defining moment, the VIP itself. No pressure, though, just an invite to something that might surprise you. So if you're ready to jump in, just go to that link and then hit the button. And here is what happens when you do. Is you'll have this form come up, and you put in your email address, your first and last name, and the address if you don't already have an account set up. If you do have an account set up, then that'll all be pre-filled in. And it's 57 USD that you would be paying. And the payment information is down here. You can pay by card, and all the information will come up here. Or you can pay by Google Pay, or Apple Pay, or by PayPal. So there's a lot of options that are available for payment. And then if you wanted to add to your order, we have $100 off our God First process, and you can get it for $147, and you can add it to your order by just clicking this add button right there. And there's a bit of information about God First there. We do have an information page about the God First process called godfirstprocess.com, and it gives you all the detail about that particular course. So join the VIP. You'll be glad that you did. And then the other thing that we have is the God First process is the other course that we'll be talking about. Because of anything that we have in our stable of product, this transforms your spiritual life faster than anything I've ever seen. We've had people get healed, like Julie on here today. Julie was healed of fibromyalgia when she went through the God First process. Donna, one of our moderators, Donna came in and was one of the first people to sign up for God First. She got set free from lifetime depression, chronic depression, because she began to realize how valuable she was, how deeply loved she was, how important she was, on seeing herself from God's point of view. And that's what God First does. It will transform your spiritual life. So if you don't have that course, consider getting it, because it will transform you quicker than anything I can tell you. Praise God. Okay. And I think that's, and one more thing. As you go through the 3-day Build a New Comfort Zone Challenge, like, we're opening up a door for you to walk through. And if you need help with that, then we suggest the Advanced Build a New Reality course. And this course it came out of the Comfort Zone Challenge, because we had a lot of questions and people saying, can you teach us about this thing in particular? And we just didn't have time in the free challenge, because it's free. Like, we're going to give you actionable stuff, and we're going to teach you exactly what to do on these things, but we can't teach you everything. And so the help with that is the Advanced Build a New Reality course. And then that's our most extensive course that we have. And it's got worksheets and assessments. It's got all kind of tools at your disposal that you can get into one module of it and just riff on that for like a month and get it working in your life, then go on to the next one and just work with it. And to see your life grow and develop and transform, man, you'll be so blessed by that. So that's the help with that for the God First Pros, or for the 3-day Build a New Comfort Zone Challenge. Awesome. Well, that's all for today. Any other questions, Val?
Not that need answering, I don't think. There was something I was going to say about people pleasing, because somebody had brought up, that they think they've been a people pleaser. I used to really be a people pleaser. Is like, growing up, we're told what to do in school. We're told what to do in church. All of the adults around us always tell us what to do. And we get into this stream of, I need somebody to tell me what to do, or I'm not doing the right thing. And so we're always pleasing people. And so really sitting back and knowing to answer these questions authentically at first was challenging for me, because I felt like I just didn't know the answer, because the filter was, didn't realize it, but the filter was, I need someone to tell me how to answer this. You just get so used to saying, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. But people pleasing actually does not benefit you or the people whose lives you are a part of. And, back when we worked at that church, the couple that was there before us, she was the office manager. And when they resigned, I became the office manager, and I had no training. I had no idea how to manage people. And as a people pleaser, you're trying to please the people that you're supposed to be leading. And it didn't go great for me. But then, years later, my niece and I started a business, and we had subcontractors that we contracted their services to sew our toys and stuff. And I was back in the same position of, I'm trying to please them, and yet they were looking for instruction from me. And so when you understand how people function, you're actually able to communicate with them in a way that they go, oh, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
But also, it doesn't hurt to sit down with someone and say, okay, I have this test, like Emily did with her employees at the cupcake kiosk, and this will help us to communicate with each other better. I would even suggest that you experiment with a friend and say, listen, I just found out about this personality assessment.
Personal style.
It might personal style
Yeah.
assessment. Sorry. And say, would you experiment with me? And I want to find out what motivates you, or how you function. And then you'll learn how I function. And it actually might help us understand one another better, and just experiment with it. So, yeah.
Excellent. I know Emily's helping you out here, Duana, but I looked at the chart, and that puts you way out in task unstructured territory. Your numbers of 17E and 16O put you out in task unstructured. So that's where you hang out.
I'll show just really quick in case anyone is having some continued issues. Where is?
What do you need?
Can you bring just the blank style assessment up?
The blank, I can do that. Okay.
Okay, and then scroll down to the chart.
Okay.
Go. So if you had 17E, can you highlight where that is, Dad? So that would be right there, right? And then 16O.
Be right about there.
No, go on the line where 16 would be.
Yeah. Oh,
over there. So then that's where they are, and then you would just join in the middle with a line, right? So where they would meet, like that. That's how you know where you are. So I put my numbers on the line, and then you just draw a line to meet and marry the two numbers where they would be, just like Greg's mouse is doing.
Where they'll cross. Where they cross over.
Where they cross over. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're out in task unstructured.
So it means, Duana, that you are motivated usually by a list of tasks, either that you make for yourself, like you're able to make your own list of tasks. Like I'm very motivated when I'm cleaning house. I still do this. I'll make a list: living room, dust, vacuum, move furniture, and then I'm really motivated by that check mark because, okay, I can move on to the next step. It helps the whole task of cleaning the whole house not so overwhelming because I can see myself accomplishing. And then, bathroom, I'm going to do this what needs to be done this time. And yeah, you do that with gardening. So yeah. And then, so what are you, task unstructured, you said?
Task unstructured. Yes.
Task unstructured. So unstructured usually means that you can make the list yourself.
Yeah. You don't need someone to tell you what to do. And in a group setting, like even at work, you're better off at work, or if you have your own business or whatever, you don't know what you do, but you're better off with them telling you, here's generally what you need to do, and you fill in the blanks yourself, and you do your very best to make it awesome. And yeah, your own boss. Okay.
Usually when you're task oriented, somebody will come along and say, how can I help you? And I'll think, I really don't know. I'd rather just do it and get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I don't want to stop and show you what to do, or I'll micromanage you. Like, this is how I want it done.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's good. I'm glad that you got it. It's beautiful. All righty. Okay. Yeah. We're good.
Sorry. I don't want help. Yeah. But you know what? Working with Emily's very administrative, as you all know, and she's really good at organizing conferences to where her goal is to work herself out of a job. She'll get it. She'll make a list of everything that needs to be done. She'll get volunteers, everybody doing their thing, and then she can just be available to help where needed, but she'll make it clear to everybody in the way that they function what needs to be done. And then usually they're happy and she's happy because she looks great as a conference administrator.
Yeah.
But I like working with her in that way because she'll give me here's my box. Here's what you're in charge of. Take registrations, do this, do this, do this. Okay, I'll go sit at the table and take registrations and give people directions, and I'll stay in my lane.
Yep. It's awesome. I like Teresa 26.
Teresa.
Is that Teresa? Okay.
Yes.
I'm at the stage in the God First process where my next step is to change my comfort zone, hoping to see how to use this challenge to do that in relation to seeing how God sees me. Exactly why we built the 3-day Build a New Comfort Zone challenge was for that reason, is that you will have the tools to apply that information right into your day-to-day. And you're going to go vertical in your relationship with God, in your spiritual growth, in how you find God's presence on the day-to-day. I'm so excited for you, Teresa. This is really going to be awesome for you.
Yeah, especially when you can see clearly how you function and you're like, oh, is that why I always get into arguments with people? Or, oh, I didn't understand that it was okay to be like that because that's just how I function. And then it's about learning how to work with other people within that. And I said to someone earlier that once you know how you function, it actually helps you to set healthy boundaries, because it's like, you know what? You don't want me doing that. That's not how I function. If you're asking me to function that way, I'm not going to get the task done. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. We are going to wrap this up for today. Thank you for being here, everybody. Hope this helped you. We just want to bring value to you, help you out, tell you a little bit about what's happening this week. Hope you can join us in the VIP, become a student in these courses. It's going to be such a blessing to you. And that's why we put it together. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 10 a.m. for day 1 of our 3-day Build a New Comfort Zone challenge. All right. So we're going to say goodbye now. And we're going to be back again at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for those that are in North America, but y'all have already seen it. So we'll see you tomorrow.
I mean, if you just want to come and listen, that's fine, but it'll basically be the same.
Yeah, it will be definitely the same. All right. Take care now. Bye-bye.